Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, big news for sorghum. We'll talk about it with Lanier Zambori with the Sorghum Checkoff. We'll also have features from the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Department of Agriculture, as well as more from Kansas Sorghum. And the weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919, kfb.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat, online at kswheat.com. In agricultural news, after serving as president of the Kansas Farm Bureau since 2014, Montgomery County farmer Rich Feltz announced he will retire in December. Feltz served as vice president for the organization for 3 years and was on the board before that, before moving into the leadership role. New president will be elected at the organization's meeting coming up in December. Greg Hubert of Oakley been inducted into the Livestock Marketers Hall of Fame. Hubert and his wife Brenda own and operate Hubert Cattle Sales. It's a Charlet sales management firm. He began his career back in 1986. Over the last 36 years, has managed 817 auctions, marketed over 56,376 head of registered cattle. Well, larger loans continue to boost lending activity in the second quarter of this year, while farm loan interest rates edged higher. The Federal Reserve in Kansas City said the volume of non-real estate ag loans grew steadily alongside an increase in the number of average size of loans. Interest rates remain historically low, but continue to increase in recent quarters and on nearly all types of farm loans as benchmark rates continue their upward trend. The average maturity of some of the types of loans, particularly those of real estate, also increased during the quarter and was above recent historic averages. The Kansas City Fed says farm lending activity showed some signs of rebounding from the pullback in recent years and could grow further in the coming months as higher cost of many major inputs continue impacting farmers, and persistent pressure from higher production expenses could squeeze profit margins going forward and drive demand for credit even higher. And in 2021, USDA says farm production expenses hit $392.9 billion. That's a 7.3% increase from 2020 to 2021. The four biggest expenditures, $189.4 billion, 48% of all expenses. Those four: feed, farm services, livestock, poultry-related expenses, and labor. Total fuel expense, $12.9 billion in 2021. Diesel, the largest subcomponent, totaling $8.4 billion in expenditures, 65% of the total fuel outlay on the farm. Gas expenses, $2.4 billion, 22% higher than what we saw a year ago. LP gas rose $1.4 billion, 11% jump from 2020. Crop farm expenditures, $207.6 billion nationwide, up 6.2%. Livestock farm expenses up 8.5% in 2021. Good news for sorghum. We'll talk about it when we return.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the Soybean Checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And joining us this week is Lanier Zambori, who is a registered dietitian, and she is the Sorghum Checkoff, Director of Food Innovation and Institutional Markets. So, Lanier, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
All right. I've been waiting to do this for quite a while, with some exciting news came out of the sorghum industry that sorghum, the newest addition to the food buying guide for USDA, this is huge.
This is huge. So the USDA Food Buying Guide is the tool that schools use throughout the country to formulate their menus throughout the week. And for school food menus, there's some restrictions on them for nutrition, as there should be, because the government wants to make sure that these kids are getting the best nutrition they can while they're at school. So what this shows is that the USDA recognizes that sorghum is a nutritious part of the diet and important for kids' meals and their diets moving forward.
So with this, before we kind of get into more of the nutritional things and how food grade sorghum continues to really just take off, talk about this from a farmer standpoint. Why should farmers be very excited about this?
Well, this is a huge opportunity, kind of a new channel to move sorghum. So not only the volume of sorghum that could be sold and moved, but also the awareness. So the fact that even you and I are talking about this, and all these people are starting to buzz and say, what's that sorghum thing that everybody's mentioning now? The awareness of sorghum as a food ingredient will certainly help elevate that whole area of sorghum sales and growth.
So talk about the process. I mean, this was a long time coming. This wasn't just something you came up with a couple of weeks ago. I mean, there's a long process to get to that announcement that was made.
That's right. This has been going on for quite some time. And as most things, it was a slow moving ship, right? So it took time, but we were very pleasantly surprised that it was announced before this school year, the 2022-23 school year. And it could not have come at a better time, because we know as of July 1, schools this year, 80% of the grains they serve have to be whole grains. So we know those school food service providers are just racking their brains going, oh my goodness, how am I going to meet that requirement? Enter sorghum. Sorghum, there's whole grain sorghum and whole grain flour. So that's everything from pizza crust to breading on a chicken nugget or a muffin in soups. There's a lot of things you can do with it that then incorporate that into your menu and meet that 80% requirement. So sorghum truly is serving as a solution in schools right now.
We are talking with Lanier Zambori. She's a registered dietitian and the Sorghum Checkoff's Director for Food Innovations and Institutional Markets. Let's take a break. We'll continue to talk about this exciting announcement in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
And our guest is Lanier Zambori. She's a registered dietitian and the director for food innovations and institutional markets with the Sorghum Checkoff program. And this announcement now of sorghum being the newest addition to USDA's food buying guide. I guess the bottom line is, Lanier, is the health benefits. Not only is it check off some of those other things about what is needed, but the simple health benefits that all those parents are wanting for their kids.
Absolutely. That's a great point. You know, with that recognition from the USDA, it truly is saying this is a healthy ingredient for kids. But as consumers start to talk about it, those parents hear from their kids about that new exciting thing on their lunch tray, parents are going to start thinking about it too as an ingredient in their diets. It's really amazing because it really does check a lot of the boxes of what consumers are looking for. So it's naturally gluten-free, non-GMO. It's a plant-based protein, which many folks are looking for these days, high in fiber. And when you look at the nutrition profile of whole grain sorghum compared to comparable grains, it just blows them out of the water. It provides 12 essential nutrients. So that's for adults, for kids, for everybody in between. That's really important. And then when you look at the research side of it, there's really phenomenal research around heart health, diabetes, and cancer with sorghum in the diet. So it's really an exciting time to be part of Team Sorghum and to see it just as it's starting to jump off.
Well, just a few days from now, school kids will be getting back to those routines, and parents, and the school lunches and all that. So those food service providers, as you say, are looking for new and innovative recipes, and and maybe parents are as well. I know a lot of times if a student's exposed to a different food at school, they may want to have it at home as well. So how can we get those recipes and that information out to folks to help with the best way to pair sorghum with other proteins and so on?
I invite you to visit our website at sorghumcheckoff.com. So if you're a school food service provider or know one, we have scalable recipes. So that means if you want a recipe for 10 people or 100 people, we have those recipes on our website, as well as just recipes for you and I, to cook down in our kitchens for the whole family. So everything from breakfast and lunch and dinner and salads and kid friendly and everything in between. And on our website, we also have different ways to cook sorghum. So there's stovetop, you can pop it, you can boil it, all kinds of fun stuff to do and lots of tips and tricks.
Well, Lanier, we again appreciate the time to talk about this big announcement. I'm sure as it continues to develop, we'll talk with you and other things about how sorghum continues to be adapted in our schools and at homes around the country. So thanks a lot.
I look forward to it, Ken.
Lanier Zambori, who is a registered dietitian and the director of food innovation and institutional markets with the Sorghum Checkoff program, has joined us. We'll have more coming up in just a moment.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
The Soybean Checkoff relies on a network of researchers and organizations to lead projects and initiatives that add to farmer profitability. The Kansas Soybean Commission is seeking a new set of project proposals that support the Checkoff's goal to grow soybean demand and productivity here and abroad. Though it's many months away, project proposals submitted this fall will be considered for the 2024 fiscal year, which begins July 1, 2023. Getting an early start on project selection allows ample time for coordination between the Commission and project leads, and it allows for production research to begin promptly with the start of the growing season in the spring. The proposal submission deadline is September 30th, 2022. Following this deadline, the commissioners select which project leads are invited to present their plans at the December KSC meeting in Manhattan. Commissioners then choose to fund projects that complement the Commission's priorities for the year. The priorities are related to crop breeding, production and environmental programs, animal and human nutrition or food safety studies, commercially significant value-added projects that will use large quantities of soybeans, and domestic or international marketing and transportation programs. Check out www.kansassoybeans.org/forms to find more details about the Commission's request for proposals. Research projects in recent years have proved valuable investments by continuing to establish new soybean germplasms annually, exploring soy as a supplemental protein and pet food, and bolstering the soybean market across the world.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and Checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This summer, Kansans across the state are heading to their local farmers market to pick up fresh produce and other goods produced right here in Kansas. By visiting a farmers market in Kansas, you are supporting farmers, ranchers, and producers of all kinds, along with supporting the local economy and helping those markets to strengthen relationships between producers and consumers. The Kansas Department of Agriculture recognizes the importance of having quality farmers markets in communities throughout the state. So that's why we're taking this week to celebrate Kansas Farmers Market Week. The Kansas Department of Agriculture, through the From the Land of Kansas trademark program, works with 95 registered farmers markets, so communities across the state have thriving farmers markets. KDA works to provide marketing resources, updates on food safety best practices, and regular newsletters to farmers markets. KDA also assists with promoting these markets and providing state and regional workshops for them. This summer, August 7th through 14th, is Kansas Farmers Market Week, making it the perfect week to visit your local market. You can find an interactive map that will direct you to your nearest farmers market at FromTheLandOfKansas.com. At that site, you will find information on all of the markets across the state, as well as other goods produced in the wonderful state of Kansas. And throughout Farmers Market Week, the From the Land of Kansas Facebook and Instagram accounts will be full of extra content, including recipes, contests, and tips and tricks for farmers markets. And we'll even be giving away some fun items to people on those social media accounts. So start with From the Land of Kansas online, and then get out and find a local market and browse the booths, take home some fresh produce, grab a snack, and maybe even hear some live entertainment as you enjoy a farmer's market near you this summer.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
I guess I've always been involved in farming, grew up on the farm, and it's just something that I've always wanted to do.
I farm is something that as a kid, a child I grew up with. I think for the smaller communities out here in Kansas, it's very important. It's basically the driving force that keeps a lot of the small communities alive.
Well, why I farm is it's in my blood. I'm the fourth generation to be right here on this farm. Probably ever since I started farming, I've grown grain sorghum. There's nothing like the hands-on experience that you get from doing it. I try everything I can to work sorghum into the rotation. Sorghum is vital to the economy because every bushel we raise out here that is delivered to a local elevator or to a local terminal, that money is allowing producers to reinvest that money here, help grow our economies, help grow our small communities, support the local co-ops, the local agronomy suppliers.
Farming and being an ag producer is the ability to help feed our populations, but also develop new ways to enhance soil health and make sure that the farm is passed on from generation to generation for years to come.
We need good young people that are out here farming. There's some really good young guys out here, really excited when they get involved with both their community organizations, but also get on some statewide organizations. I think these commissions set the standard for what will happen with the industry, with markets, with expanding new markets to use our grains.
Everybody on the board is a sorghum producer. You have to be actively growing the crop. Everybody is involved and wants the best for their money.
It's amazing what they get done with what they have. I've been totally impressed with the commission.
You get to see where a lot of your checkoff dollars go and the reason behind that, and you have the opportunity to have input in that process.
It had been 07, 08, 09, and I'd go to seed dealers, seed companies, and be like, what have you had in research in sorghum? And their answers were nothing. I saw that as a huge issue in the fact of sorghum is a good crop for our area, to really get down and figure out what our priorities are and really where we want to invest and where we want to focus our research dollars to help promote sorghum and help advance technology with the crop. We know that what we do here makes a difference in a lot of lives all over the world. It's just vital for the economy in general that it allows us to move dollars through here and bring money from outside of Kansas into the state and help continue to be an economic driver. It's just vitally important that we continue to rely on the grain production and things to help be that economic driver for these small communities. My name is Stephen Biggie and I farm in north central Kansas in Rooks County.
Kevin Kniebel. I farm not too far from Manhattan, Kansas to the south.
I'm Kevin Harris.
Mike Rosebrook.
Nathan Larson.
Clark Bibb, I'm an at-large member of the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission.
And I'm serving on the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission Board. You're in God's creation out here, and we get to work in it every day. The miracles of putting seed in the ground and producing abundantly it's just, I can't top it. It's not just an occupation, it's not just a job, but it's just a tremendous way of life.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
A new study involving the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University is paving the way forward in controlling anaplasmosis, a devastating and costly cattle disease. The research is unique in that it is the first to address the urgent need for a vaccine against the tick-borne disease. According to Hans Coetzee, study co-author and head of K-State's Department of Anatomy and Physiology, the research represents what he believes to be the greatest advance in anaplasmosis vaccine development in 50 years. Certain management practices can make some difference in controlling the disease, but having a good vaccine is the best option, and this research team, which also included scientists from St. George's University and the USDA Animal Disease Research Center, is the first to develop a protective vaccine. Anaplasmosis causes diverse clinical signs, including persistent high fever, anemia, jaundice, weight loss, abortion in pregnant cows, lowered milk production in dairy cattle, and reduced meat production in beef cattle. It is transmitted by more than 20 different tick species and can be spread rapidly by mechanical transmission as well. The disease also has a major economic impact, causing billions of dollars of losses annually throughout the world.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the Soybean Checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good day. I'm Derek Hermish with Pinion. Unprecedented is a word that you've probably heard or maybe even spoken yourself recently when listening to or discussing the markets. We've experienced volatility in the ag markets before, and if you've been around long enough, you've also experienced inflation and rising interest rates. Nobody around today, though, has experienced both of those items at the same time with the amount of managed money that exists in the market today. The ability of the market to trade a range of prices in 1 week that we typically would trade in a year can be great for day traders, but it can lead to indecisiveness for hedgers wanting to make long-term decisions. It's difficult in this environment to give advice to somebody without knowing your individual operation and current crop outlook. Something I can offer, though, is to be sure you know what kind of decision you are trying to make. A short-term day trader does need to concern himself or herself with nickels and dimes when picking spots to sell or buy. A long-term hedger does not in this environment. Don't let a dime hold up a decision that could cost you $1. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
That's our show this week. Be social with us at kansasagreport.net or our social media channels. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.